Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of TerraTech. And on tonight's episode, we are going to be continuing where we left off. Now, on this episode, we're going to be doing something that you guys have been asking me to do for quite a long time now. And lately, I've been getting a lot of requests for it. And you guys have wanted to see a harvester bot. Now, normally I don't build these too often because, well, I like to find the pieces out there in the world and then build my own bots. But if you make your stuff in the R&D or you make certain bots that you really enjoy and you like to have multiple of them just kind of stationed different places throughout the map, you're going to need a little bit of cash to kind of buy that. And this is kind of a fast way to do that. Also, as soon as the AI is worked out to where it doesn't need to be babysat anymore, these kind of bots are really going to kind of take off. So it's fairly simple. I did kind of go a little overboard with the wheels, but you'll see later on as we move around just how useful this actually is. Now, I put the smaller wheels here underneath for the geocore, and the reason behind that is as you come out here and you harvest rocks, you'll notice a lot of the time some of them are smaller, some of them are larger. The larger ones are easier to destroy, and the smaller ones, they don't tend to have any resources, and they tend to get stuck underneath your bot as you run over them without even noticing. So having that extra little grip down here on the bottom really helps out. And the reason I didn't go with the smaller wheels like the hub wheels or even the venture ones is because they don't usually allow for pieces that fall underneath your bot to kind of pass through. And you can see there's a fair bit of room here. So if any of the pieces do get stuck underneath here, they can kind of be pushed aside and go through the maze labyrinth of all these wheels. And it took me a little while. It took me about an hour to kind of figure out the path in which they kind of move around down here based off of the receivers I have up here. And this is the exact design that has worked really well for me. Now, I only needed 3 big wheels. Of course, you can go with more than that if you want a bigger bot. This seems to be perfect size for me, for the purposes I'm going with. Doesn't get stuck all that often, and really the only changes I've made recently are these 2 big drills here. I used to have just a row of those stud lasers, and they worked fairly well, but I did notice they were destroying quite a bit of resources when they got stuck. So yeah, I decided to kind of get rid of them, put these things on, and they've been working fairly well for the last like 10 minutes or so. So I think you don't really have to worry about kind of getting stuck on the hills too much, but we'll see how that works out. Now, you can also change the direction of these when you put them on there. You can have them tilting off to the left or the right. You can have them tilting kind of upwards. If you look at them right now, they're angled slightly down so that they hit the resources. Again, if you get stuck on these hills, angle them slightly upwards. It may still be high enough that they no longer get stuck on the hills, but low enough that they'll be able to destroy the resources you want. And you don't even have to hold down the attack button when you use these. You just run right into the enemy or the resources and it immediately starts drilling for you. So that's really nice. I also have a row of Uzis up here just in case we run into an enemy. I got a couple Uzis back here on the side and then a whole row of stud lasers here on the back. On the top, I have, as you can see, completely and totally filled up the entire bot with these refineries here on the side. I have 3 here on the left, or on the right-hand side. I have 4 here on the back and another 3 on the left. In between the corners, I went ahead and put shield and recharge bubbles just in case we run into anything. And as well here on the corner pieces, I put a few of these generators that will take the fuels, the woods, the things of that sort before they get refined, go ahead and start charging it up. And then I put a couple here on the center for the resources that do get refined. It can go ahead and start charging that up because you get a little bit more boost with that, a little bit more energy off of that stuff. But I didn't want to use a lot of it because I wanted the rest to go to making money. And that's what these resources, these little delivery cannons will do for me. They will sell, and you'll see the strength or the directions of the conveyor belts as it goes around. So without any further ado, we're going to get out there. We're going to start to, getting some resources here. You can already see that I got a fair bit of them on me right now. I can just walk right up to this or drive right up to that and it automatically destroys. It's absolutely beautiful. But if I come into a big area like this and I want to go ahead and just kind of shoot my way through, I definitely can. And it just kind of shoots right through it like that. And I will destroy a few of the resources. But again, when it comes to wood, you're not really going to make a lot of money off of those. I kind of go through them just because they get in my way, and 2, they give my bot something to do until I can find the really expensive resources. Now, I am lagging out a little bit because I have come back to where my base is, just because this is where some of the most valuable resources I found so far on the map have been. Plus, as you destroy trees, for every tree you destroy, you get like 3 or 4 of the resources here, and yeah, that will create a little bit more lag for you too. So just kind of be aware that this may be a little bit more than whatever computer you're using. I know I have recently replaced my old computer for probably about 4 or 5 months now, maybe a little bit longer now. So the old computer, it couldn't handle like 1/4 of this, and yeah, they have made improvements to it and things along that way as the game has gotten better and better in the progression. Are we doing any damage to this? I think we are. Yeah, he's about to blow up right there. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind, guys, is as we have gone through these videos, you know, we are doing a little bit of maintenance stuff here in between. One of the reasons I am collecting resources is there is a something I want to build. In fact, I guess I can show you that real quick. I was going to save it as a surprise, but I have been working on my ultimate tech, the ultimate base bot in the R&D. It is massive in size. It's not even close to being finished. Here it is right here. And unfortunately, it's going to cost me something like 1 million of my my currency to be able to buy it, and I don't technically have the ability to do so just yet because I need the big wheels and I need the yellow square blocks for the geocore. And even though we found the pieces, I mean, you can see them right here on my bot, we haven't done the quest for the corporation. So that's kind of what we've been doing on the last few episodes as we've been testing out different bots here and there, is just trying to level up our stuff so that I can do more things in the future, such as that, like build it over in the R&D and then come through and just purchase that stuff. Let me see if I can get away from my base a little bit because it's kind of lagging out. I don't know why it's doing that too much lately. I do know it's been an issue as we've gotten further and further in some of our games. There always comes a point where there's too many enemies and things of that sort, and we usually end up having to start over. I was hoping this time it wouldn't be too bad, and I think they've gotten much better. I mean, we have 2 giant towers for one, and we have like 6 bots over there now. I did go ahead and buy another one of my crabs just in case I kind of wanted to mess around with that. So that guy is still sitting over there at my base. I do also want to change him up. Some of you guys were saying that the wheel position on him wasn't exactly the best placement, and I would completely agree with you on that one. You got to remember though, he wasn't exactly made to be the most efficient, you know, killing machine. He was made to look cool. And if it just meant that he had a few extra, you know, penalties to it, you know, such as bad wheel placement and things of that sort, so be it. I was willing to accept that. I didn't quite finish him off because as I was looking back at it, I remember, you know, crabs, they have multiple legs, and I didn't give him any legs to kind of have, so you can see right here, instead of just like teeter-tottering, there's some wheels under there to kind of give you that grip in case you do get stuck on little places like this. Apparently not enough. Haven't gone over any little ledges like this. And then, of course, I did stop right on top of it. If you keep that momentum going, usually little ledges like that won't give you too much of a thing. Now, in one of the earlier videos, I did sit here and try to use these steam vents with the thermal generator engine or whatever it's called. Somebody was letting me know that is not a thing in the game yet. It's not working at the moment. So it wasn't that I was doing it wrong or something along those lines. No, it's not set up to work at this moment. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can get a little bit of this just to kind of get some of the stuff refining here. But there is a huge bot over there, and I kind of came out here in the desert mainly for the fact that I want to see what's out here. Now, we've never really kind of taken a look at what is in the desert as far as resources go, and you can see some of them right here on the side. Kind of looks like a little hodgepodge of all of it, but it does seem like you might find a few more of some of the resources, like this one right here. This is not a resource that I found too much over in the grassland, which is kind of unfortunate. The silver one right here is one that you're going to use in pretty much all crafting for the most part. And there's a little tiny guy right here, the Vin AA Gunner. We're going to see if we can destroy him really quick. Not really a challenge. If you can see right there, he's fairly easy to kill. I'm glad we got somebody nice and simple, because I don't know if we could take on the big guys. The big guys have big guns, and we do got a fair bit of power on this guy, but probably not enough to take on a full-fledged bot with this guy. But the fact that he can handle his own really gives me hope that one day, when the AI is up and running to my liking, I can let this guy loose, and I don't really have to worry about him dying. In fact, I don't even need to stop, really, to charge up his batteries. I can actually just let his natural, harvesting of trees and things of that sort charge it up for me. So that is absolutely beautiful. Oh, crap. There's some big guys over here. We're going to have to head off to the side here, see if we can get away. I'm going to keep using my weapons, see if they can do some damage to them. I think I got a fair bit of power. Yep, I still got a good bit of power. Let's see, we need to back it up a little bit. And they are chasing me down like crazy. They do not want to let me go. All right, they're going to stop. They're going to stop chasing me. Now, I don't know if these things in the front that drill are able to scoop down. All right, well, let's take this guy out real quick. He's not going to be too hard. I think he has like 2 weapons on him and a few pieces here and there. So let's go ahead and kill him. He's going to blow up. Not going to drop anything. Now, there is one thing that is kind of annoying me lately, and when I was building my giant massive base bot, and the reason I call it a giant massive, like 2 of them in there at the same time, is that it's not only long in the sense that it goes the maximum distance lengthwise, it also goes the maximum distance forward and back, and it eventually will go the maximum distance up and down. So it's going to be pretty much the biggest base bot you can have that can still move under its own weight. And that's the key. That's the tricky part that I've been kind of messing around with, is how do I design it? And I think the design that's really kind of coming together is the pyramid scheme that I've been, kind of doing here and there with some of my other bots. And no, it's not like the pyramid schemes you see on TV that rip people out of money. No, it's more of a kind of a step pyramid, the early designs that the Egyptians used to have, that will allow you to kind of offset the weight further inwards as you go up. And that is allowing the wheels to be less on the outside, where you kind of need them to get more traction when you're going over hills, and even more on the center, where that's exactly where you want the weight kind of put down in an actual design. If you're doing like a real car, you want the weight centered and not off to the sides. It would pull one way or the other, and you don't want that to happen. So, and that's the design I'm going with. Now, does it need to go as high as you possibly can? Absolutely not. It is so massive that I am able to build an entire base, more than an entire base. I'm talking about a massive size base that's able to harvest and just come through and decimate an entire area in a matter of seconds, and then not only refine all of that, but go ahead and sell it off if that's what you want, or build more stuff within that amount of time. Like it's going to be able to do that really, really quickly. If you think about the towers we built, imagine that, quality, that kind of quickness that it can do times, like 15. Like it's going to be just crazy powerful in what you can do with it. But the thing that's kind of driving me nuts right now is the conveyor systems no longer operate in the way that they used to, in the sense that they can have resources such as blocks and things of that sort travel down them. That used to be a thing in earlier patches. I don't know if they took it out on purpose, or if it's just for the time being they haven't quite fixed it to operate that way. But it's very, very difficult to design a bot that's made to do that without that function being in the game. Now, I don't know what to say about that, other than I hope they bring it back really quickly. Now, this is, like I said, a fairly decent bot when it comes to harvesting. Now, I know some of you are like, oh no, this is going to be a boring episode. All we're going to do is be harvesting. Well, true, we are going to be nothing but harvesting on this episode. However, I think this is a vital part of the game that a lot of people kind of, gloss over, that don't really show it in the video. So again, I do apologize if some of you guys find this somewhat tedious, somewhat boring, but it's something you have to do. If you want to get those pieces, or at least in the old days, if you wanted to get access to a lot of those pieces that you couldn't find in the game. You didn't have to do the corporation stuff. You just went out in the world and tried to find it. Well, if you didn't want to do that, or you were just having really, really bad luck doing that, you could come out here, you could find the raw resources for it, and then you could actually make those pieces if you knew what the recipe was, or just play around with the recipes, and eventually you'd find them. So this is something you kind of want to mess around with, and at a later date in the game, I'm pretty sure the programmers are going to expand this to give you more access, more flexibility in whether you want to be that type of player that actually goes out and destroys other bots, or do you want to be that more of that kind of homebody that stays in the background and just kind of collects resources, builds what you need, maybe has an entire factory going. That part really appeals to me. Those of you who've maybe played games like Factoro that allow you to create entire worlds built up just to refine and harvest and process resources will know that that's a very, fulfilling thing that you can do with that creates all this really, really cool stuff. And then you can create the bots, that's the payday where everybody else may have a faster start time, where they go off and they get all these pieces and they're able to build these bots a little faster than you, because you take that extra little bit of time to kind of come in here and harvest resources, go in here and build up the base that can, process those resources and then convert them into actual blocks. Down the road, you're going to have more of those blocks to mess around with than the other guy, I think. You get a lot of stuff from fighting, but I think you'd get a lot more if you did it this way. So I kind of want to try it at least a little bit, because on the next few episodes, we're going to be going hardcore into some really, really cool stuff. And some of the reasons that I needed the money too is that hover pads. I was going to build a hover pad on this episode, an entire bot made out of them. Unfortunately, they're really expensive, and I only had 2, so not nearly enough. Now, I don't have any of the 5-speed or 5 booster way hover pads that you can get in the game. Those would definitely help with direction, and that's one of the things that have really kind of hampered my ability to make those in the past, is just the control over pushing them left or right. They are hover pads, so they're just kind of gliding over the ground willy-nilly wherever they feel like it. It is not an easy thing to do. Airplanes, also, some of you wanted to do the combination of the two. I couldn't quite tell if you wanted a hover pad or a airplane, because some of you wanted a hover pad that had megaton cannons on it and was able to have all this armament. Don't know if that's even possible, really, unless you get into just massive proportions. Somebody has shown me a video a long time ago that you could create a base bot that flew. I tried building it, and it took 8 hours, and I didn't even get 1% of it done, and then the game freaked out on me. So that might be something we have to build ultimately in the R&D department and then just buy it in here. But if any of you guys have ideas, or you've seen other players build giant base bosses, definitely leave links down below. I would love to check some of those out and see if maybe I can expand on that. Maybe I can duplicate that in some way and just get an actual flying base going, because I think that would be a really, really cool idea if done right. These guys are a little bit too high for me, I think, or too low, I should say. I'm a little bit too high for them, so I'm not even hitting them really with my studs. However, the Ventures, if you can get far enough away, they can turn and they can fire behind themselves, allowing you to arc the weapon a little bit and hit the enemy even if he's behind you. So that's really, really nice. That's why I tend to prefer the Venture. Just kind of be careful with those. They don't always have the ability to track the enemy when it's really fast. And you can see right there, that's one of the things that's going on. It's trying to hit them, but the lock-on capability of Ventures is pretty low. Like right there, the accuracy is just horrible. I've never noticed that before, but it couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, man. That is nasty accuracy. Oh, yeah, I I don't know what to say to that. I guess I've never quite looked at it in that that kind of light. When it's shooting up in the front, it seems to do just fine there, but other than that, wow, that is pretty nasty. So as you can see, my mission logs at the top are a few fold right there. Reach the next grade, destroy the enemy bases, Renegade's Tech, and destroy enemy bases. So we got 2 destroy enemy bases, and basically we just got to level it up. It's kind of slow going. It does take a little while, and yeah, we're just going to have to burn through that. Now, if you guys don't want to see that, you prefer that I do all that off camera, let me know. I'm happy to do that. You guys don't have to sit there and watch each and every one of them, but because there's so many people who have opinions on it, you guys have left comments. Some like watching the buildings, some like watching the combat. I try to give everyone that watches the channel a little something, even if it's just kind of sporadic. One episode for combat, one episode for building, vice versa, and down the road. This one is more of just harvesting. So hopefully you guys out there who have been asking for that will enjoy this one. I don't think we're going to do it too often, but it doesn't really take too long. You guys can see right here, in a matter of like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, we've already gotten so many resources that if you're building something just natural, something that's not massive in size and scope, yeah, you're going to have enough to kind of play around with. If you're just, kind of offsetting the stuff that you have with the stuff that you need, oh, I need 1 or 2 pieces here and there, this should do just fine to kind of come out here every so often. What am I stuck on? All right, so this should not happen. I got wheels under there to kind of prevent this. Let me see if I can go a little further. It is kind of moving up a little bit more. Let me go back, see if this works. Now, if you do notice you get stuck on something like this and going up and down like this really isn't helping you, one of the things you can do is just put some boosters on your bot. And the reason I would say put boosters on your bot, I'm just going to drop it right there so it can get healed up. But if you put boosters on your bot, when you're in build mode, you can hit the booster button and you will shoot forward just a tiny little bit. It's not a huge amount, but it's enough to kind of give you that push. You pick yourself up in a build mode again and do it all over again. And after 2 or 3 times doing that, you're ready to go. You should be off of whatever thing you're stuck on. Get out of that little corner. Boosters are really, really useful. And if you're trying to get over one of these little humps right here and you just don't have the thrust, don't have the grip to do it, again, boosters will help you do that. Wow, there's a nice little trove of resources here. And if you're paying attention, you can kind of see for yourself which resources give you the most money. Green ones, for me, are just a payday. Like, if I find green resources, I'm getting those right off the bat. Those are amazingly good cash. The other ones, like the blue ones, those are definitely really good. The little crystals that light up during the night, not so hot. I think they're 40 or something like that. I think those are the ones we're getting right there. And the silver ones, not so hot either, unfortunately. Those are really valuable to you if you are happening to do anything as far as trade crafting. If you're actually going to craft stuff, you're going to need a lot of those resources. Now, do you have to actually sell everything? No, you don't. If you wanted to collect all this stuff for yourself and take it back to your base, this bot could easily be changed to accommodate that. You would take off all the cannons in the middle and put down some silos, and it would take all the stuff, refine what it can, put everything on the silos, and when everything else is filled up, all the outsides would still hold more and more resources and inevitably return back to your base if it was programmed to do so at some point. Maybe drop all those resources off to another silo that you had waiting for it, and then when you got back to your base, you were able to, sit there and pick through the pieces that you wanted and make the stuff that you needed. So, yeah, at some point, this is all going to be pretty automated and pretty easily done. You just kind of have to build up the infrastructure first, build up these types of bots. And like I said, I wanted to build one that did everything for me. And this, I think, is the one that does it. This is the one that will be easily changed. It's big enough, but not too big. Again, you got to remember, if it's too big, it's going to get stuck, not only on hills and crevices, on rocks, but in the trees and things of that sort. So you're going to want something that is capable of moving around, even in like small areas. And again, this, I think you really can't beat it. It's big enough to destroy stuff, but not too big that it's going to get stuck. Now, the only thing that I really need to change is right here in the center. Those drills are not getting repaired. They're kind of getting damaged as I go up and down things. There is a space right in between them that I can put some repair bubbles, even a shield bubble if I so decide to. I don't think it really needs a shield bubble, but I'll put it there anyways, just so it's extra protected against, any enemies that we might happen to come across, things of that sort. So, yeah, that should be fine once I put that there. That's, like I said, I kind of put those there right before I started the episode, about 10 minutes before I did the episode. So that was kind of something I knew I probably will be changing, enhancing as time went on. And now that I've experimented with it, I can see that it's kind of lacking in the repair department because it's just right outside the bubbles, right in between them. In fact, I think the one on the right is getting healed because I don't see that one flashing even remotely any of the time. So it's really, really cool. And you don't even have to push forward when you get next to these rocks. Just get next to them and the drills automatically turn on. See, like right there, it wasn't close enough because I was hovering above them. Let me actually get up a little bit, get some speed going, and get over these hills. Now I am trying, the hardest parts on the map to show you that if it works out here, it's going to work inside the grassland. These are the places your bots are going to get stuck on. These are the places you want to stay away from if you have a sucky bot and just doesn't have that power. But I think we have shown the capabilities of this bot enough. As I said before, on the next one, we're going to be doing the hover pad. And then the one right after that, we're going to be doing a flying bot. So if you guys want to see that, definitely leave those comments down below. Again, I do apologize for those of you who are out there like, oh my god, you did an entire episode on harvesting. I love it. I definitely think this part of the game needs to be shown more often. But I can definitely see your opinion on just... Really? Just a whole episode? Yeah, well, it happened, guys. And hopefully you enjoyed it. I know I did. I will definitely catch you all next time, guys. AC Gamer here. Hey guys, and welcome to the disembodied voice of AC Gamer. We are definitely going to be doing a lot more series in the future, but here are a few of them that you guys might find interesting. Of course, you're more than welcome to check them out. I would love to hear your comments. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. It's definitely the indicator that I use to tell if you guys want to see more videos like that, of that particular game style, of that series in the long run. So when you guys leave comments down, it helps me decide whether we should keep doing it, as well as whether you want to see games like that in the future. And here are a few of them right here. I kind of picked out a few of different genres. We will be doing spotlights for other YouTubers in the future. So if you want to get a little shout out, definitely let me know. If you group with me, chances are you will get a shout out in here eventually. But for now, these are just 4 series that I have that I feel like could use a little bit more attention and that you guys might actually enjoy as well. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we will definitely catch you all next time.